about or discussing rather what is the importance of a balanced diet for promoting good growth and good health in teenage girls. I have decided to focus more on the girl child because I feel it is the girl child who is not really taken care of with regards to requirements of nutrition adequacy. Mostly most mothers will be very careful with the boy, with the boy child. When he is okay, you are growing up, you are running, you are playing. The girl is supposed to be at home or busy with books or helping with the housework along with her studies. I mean, this is the general mentality of Indians all over. If you look at the different states in our country, mostly it is the boy who gets more importance because he's supposed to be playing, yes, and he's supposed to be more active, and the girl child will not show much with regards to what she needs to eat or what she wants to eat. And then even girls are very easily influenced by the media, by friends, by fad diets, by the internet nowadays, and then they are more likely to be more passive, more sedentary. So if you are looking at the teen age, that age when the girl child matures into a young lady, from the age of 12 till 18, okay, a lot of fast growth is happening, growth with regards to muscle, with regards to bone mass, with regards to sexual maturity, with regards to behavior, with regards to developing attitudes to food. So she, if she is educated in the right way and taught what is right for her, what is the importance of nutrition adequacy with regards to both the quality and the quantity of nutrients. So we will try and focus on the various aspects which I think are important in making the girl into a healthy woman. See, if the girl develops into a healthy woman, then she will give birth to healthier children. She herself will be able to contribute much more to her personal growth as well as to the community, to the family, to the country at large. So if we are looking at educating and helping a girl child develop with regards to good nutrition, good food habits, good health, then we are giving the society and the country a strong fabric at large. So we will be covering the nutrition requirements, what are the recommended dietary allowances for the child with regards to macro and micronutrients, with regards to energy balance, what is the importance of physical fitness with regards to cognitive development, with regards to mental growth, with regards to the health issues and eating disorders which are commonly faced by the young girl in today's times. So when we are looking at the girl child growing rapidly, see, in most cases, see, the child will start, overnight she'll become tall, or overnight she'll look like a young lady, she'll develop at the right places. So if we are going to give the child optimum nutrition with regards to enough nutrients, with regards to quality and quantity, then the child grows into a healthy and a positive young woman. And at the same time, we should look at the changes in the body. We are looking at body fat developing, we are looking at muscle developing, we are looking at bones developing. So we should help this girl child develop into a strong young woman. See, when you see that a small girl will slowly turn into a 5 feet or 5.5 or 5'6", 5'8" tall girl. So all this depends on what is the environment. Most importantly, what is the nutrition with regards to its optimum, with regards to quality and quantity of the right nutrients, as also what kind of peaceful environment you're giving the child, positive environment, whether the child is playing, involved in sports, then that child grows optimally. With regards to a genetic makeup, the child who gets the right nutrition will grow to the optimum possible height and brain development. Of course, you see the child developing hair around the armpits, the pubic area. So you see when we are looking at providing the child with good food, we are trying to help the child develop into a positive and a very, very confident young lady. See, a child who is fed well with regards to iron, calcium, proteins, carbohydrates, yes, the right kind of good quality fats with regards to emphasis on omega-3, with regards to essential fatty acids, with regards to vitamin D and calcium, then such a child will have more concentration, will have good performance with regards to sports and academic achievements. Also, a child who is well fed will be not sick as often, will have lesser sick days, and will also not develop the diseases of the lifestyle which you see now in young ladies. See, today's girls are having high body fats and then they are developing polycystic ovarian disorders. They are developing hirsutism, hair on the face. They are having a lot of acne. They are having hair fall. They are also developing sometimes diabetes at as young as 16 and 17. This is all because of bad diets, bad lifestyles. So if we give our young girls good nutrition, good schools to study in, good positive upbringing, then they're definitely going to be healthier and lesser chances of any kind of health issues. So what are the macronutrients? Macronutrients are your carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Now surveys done in schools and in general population in India have shown that most of our children are able to match the requirements for carbohydrates and fats. But once again there is a hitch here. They are eating up more of starchy and sugary foods and oily foods rich in trans fatty acids. Whereas here the requirement is of complex carbohydrates, lesser refined sugars. We need to give the child essential fatty acids, omega-3 fats. So that is where our girls are lacking. So if we give them the right kind of good fats, the right kind of good carbohydrates, which are not very rich in only starch and sugars, full of complex multi-nutrients, then their child will grow more healthier. Also the protein intake is not adequate, especially so the requirements of good quality proteins is fairly lacking in Indian girls' diet. Fiber. See, apart from your carbohydrates, fats and proteins, in today's generation you see the children who are more influenced by these starchy and burgers, breads, biscuits, cold drinks, pizzas, yes, samosas, sorry?
10 gram fiber is enough.
No, they are lacking. That is what they are. What our studies have shown, our surveys shown that they are only able to intake 10 grams of fiber, whereas the requirement is as high as 15 to 18. If you're looking at that 12 to 18, we say start at 15, go on to 18, even 20. See, and this will only come when we are able to give the child the right kind of complex carbs. Our unrefined cereals, vegetables, fruits, our sprouts, these are our sources of fibers. So this is where we need to inculcate the right kind of food habits. We'll be discussing all about the different meals of the day also. So now we have micronutrients. So this is largely our vitamins and minerals. So vitamins like vitamin A and vitamin D are required for not only good eyesight but for good growth of the bones, the skeletal structure. Then vitamin B12, B2, folic acid are required for good healthy blood formation, as also for good brain development, as also for good nervous development. Iron and folic acid, B12 are again are required for good healthy blood formation. Calcium, vitamin D again go hand in hand to give the girl child a good strong skeletal system. Now when we are looking at foods, we are also looking at oils, fats and salts coming in. In today's times our kids are having more than necessary amounts of salt because of their intake of processed foods. See, 5 grams coming in from cooked food is fair enough for our tropical climates. Yeah, but the child eating a lot of biscuits, wafers, farsans, burgers, pizzas, then processed foods, all those processed foods having all those preservatives, they are then again contributing to extra sodium in the child's diet. So we need to protect and educate the child to read the food labels and see not to eat too much of these processed foods having much more salt. See, this is a typical Indian thali. If you see, you'll have roti, papad, achar, you'll see a liquid sabzi, you'll see a dal, you'll see a bhajia wala kadhi, and you'll see little sabzi. So here this is not a balanced plate. If I would be talking about a balanced plate, I will give you another picture where if you will look at that picture, you will feel, oh God, our diets are sadly lacking. I will come to all your questions when I finish with my talk, sir. Let's first finish in our limited time. What is the essentials of good nutrition for the girl child? So when I am giving you the plate, the eat well plate method, which is, well regarded world over by nutritionists, we are looking at, if I now again break the plate into, I am going to break the plate here into 4 different portions, 4 important portions and 1 slim portion where I allow the child sometimes chocolates, you know, biscuits or some kind of ice creams, but I'm looking at 33% coming in from fruits and vegetables, 33% coming in from chapatis, chapatis coming in from wheat, jawar, bajra, breads, whole grains. We're looking at cornflakes, muesli, oat flakes. We're looking at a good 15% coming in from milk and eggs, and 15% coming in from your pulses and mutton, chicken, fish. Only a bare 5% should come in from the processed foods. But if you compare by the eat well plate method, in today's time, if you look at your school surveys of children between the 12 to 18, that age group, yeah, you're looking at 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th standards. We're looking at their tiffins or their choice of foods from the canteens. We see that they are having majorly only breads. See, they'll have pav bhaji, they'll have samosa, vada pav, sandwich. So there is not much importance given to any proteins coming in. See, proteins will largely come in through our sprouts, through our chana, chole, rajma, paneer, curds, buttermilk, cheese, mutton, chicken, fish, eggs, soya, milk, tofu. So this is fairly lacking. This is lacking in great amounts in the child's most important breakfast and lunch. Because breakfast, they are in a hurry to go to school or college. They are not getting up enough earlier before school time to eat a good breakfast. So then they are just taking a glass of milk. There is no carbohydrate, there is no chapati, poha, upma happening. Or in some places you just eating 4 biscuits. Or some chocolate on the way, or some cold drink on the way. Now this is sadly lacking in the much required complex carbohydrates, first class proteins, and of course we need to emphasize on the inclusion of fruits and vegetables in each of our meals. If we make it a point to include a fruit or a vegetable in each of our meals, we will have sufficient adequacy with regards to nutrition for the growing child. The baby may be a girl or a boy or a young man or a young woman or an elderly person. Today India is looking at intaking more of refined starchy foods, fatty foods, and lesser of complex carbohydrates, first class proteins, vitamins and mineral rich fibers which are there in our fruits and vegetables. So we will look at more such ideas. So what are the common health problems which are linked with bad nutrition in teenage girls? See, one is we spoke about inadequacy of first class proteins in the girl child's diet. So most girls today are having short stature, they are not able to grow as tall. See, when the child is growing, between say 10 to 14, that's when the growth spurt happens. So if you are able to give the child good amount of adequate amounts of first class proteins, which will come in from milk, curds, lassi, paneer, cheese, then sprouts, you will have your chana, mung, chole, rajma, soya bean, you will have soya granules, you will have tofu, then you will have egg, mutton, chicken, fish, you will have those bombil and prawns. I mean, all these give us first class proteins.
Do palak have protein?
No, palak is a vegetable, it is going to give you vitamin A and folic acid and fiber. So, good sources of proteins, I just spoke about eggs, I spoke about milk, curds. So, if you are not able to make the child, just drink milk by itself, convert it into a kheer. You have got rice kheer, ragi kheer, you've got oat porridge, you've got badam milk coming in. You can make the child a cheese paratha, a paneer paratha. You can give the child a til laddu or a peanut chikki. You can give the child a besan laddu. There are enough recipes in the Indian dietaries which we can actually include. So we are talking about proteins lacking in an Indian diet. That's when we see a short stature or the child not able to grow to her optimum height what genetically she is supposed to be growing. So if we are going to improve the child's nutrition with good amount of proteins coming in from first class proteins of milk, egg, cheese, curds, lassi, as against sprouts, these are vegetable proteins. We are looking at dals, we are looking at tofu. Now remember one thing, that all our vegetable proteins, especially dals and nuts, are lacking one or more essential amino acids. So when they are lacking the essential amino acids, they won't promote growth. So when we combine these dals with curd, like a lassi or a raita, if you make a dal paratha, so you are combining dal with a cereal, and you give that with a chutney with peanuts or dahi in it. So that makes the biological value of the protein as good as the animal protein, which is like mutton, chicken, fish. So those who are vegetarians can also get good nutrition, good quality of proteins just by learning the right combinations. So if there's a child who is practicing pure vegetarianism, like our Jain friends or Gujaratis or some people who are just not able to eat non-veg, so if they are made to understand what is the right combination of proteins from vegetarian kingdom with cereals or the first class proteins, then we can enhance the protein quality as well as the adequacy of proteins, whereby we will support optimum growth. So menarche, that is when the young girl gets her first period. Okay, the child is scared, is not able to accept that something has happened to her. Then she realizes that okay, this is part of being a woman, of growing into a woman. So then the periods may be less, they may be scanty, painful, irregular. So at such times also, if the parent, the family is able to give the child the right kind of education regarding it being a very natural process, provide with good nutrition, especially emphasis should be on iron rich foods, because when there are blood losses and the child becomes anemic, then the child will also be stunting. Yeah, because she is not having enough proteins, enough iron, she will have stunted growth, she will look pale, she will look tired, she will be irritable. So if you can emphasize on giving her enough iron, as much as 30 milligrams of iron can come in, yeah, from different food sources. We'll discuss the sources right away. But if you can prevent low iron status means the hemoglobin less than 12 grams per deciliter, and that is called as the child having iron deficiency anemia. So teenagers who are specially following only vegetarian foods and not able to give their body enough iron from varied food sources are the ones suffering from iron deficiency anemia. And the other reason is worm infestation in most Indians. See, 60% of our population, whether it's a girl or a boy, is anemic. And anemia symptoms are pallor, paleness. If you look at the eyes, they'll be pale from within. If you look at the hands, they'll be pale. If you will look at her regular complaints, the child will have headache, will be very easily fatigued and tired. She'll be disturbed behavior, will be like, not interested, listless, cranky, will not mix up fast, will be sitting in a corner, will be depressed, or will have decreased attention span in school. Even when the teacher is teaching, the child won't be able to recollect or remember fast or what's being taught in the class. Also, the child will be sick very often. An anemic child won't be able to fight infections as fast or resist infections for that matter. So we should look at how we can cure anemia, how we can improve the blood picture, how can we step up the hemoglobin from 10, 11 to 12, 13 plus, and that too by food ideas. First and foremost, provide the good quality proteins. Then you have got ferrous and heme iron. See, ferrous is the iron found in vegetables, heme is the iron found in animal foods like your mutton, chicken. You have organs like your liver, kidneys, these are rich in heme iron. Then you have got B12. B12 comes in again from non-veg sources and nuts and leafy vegetables. Folic acid, vitamin C, and of course there should be an emphasis on deworming and hygiene. So we are looking at washing hands before food, washing foods before they are eaten. Important things. Now we will prevent worm infestations and disease. So iron absorption ke liye you are going to give the child, if we are vegetarians, you will have to give them, convert the pulses into sprouts. Let the whole moong, chana, chavli be soaked and sprouted. So that will give much better B complex and vitamin C, and the protein is there. Serve that moong, chana, chavli, chole, rajma with a bowl of curd or a glass of lassi or some cheese on it. Include some coriander mint chutney or sprinkle that on it. Put tomato in that chana chaat. So when you're using tomato, you get vitamin C. Sprinkle lime, vitamin C. Yeah, you're going to serve that with a papaya salad or orange juice or an orange salad, you're going to give vitamin C. Yes, when you're going to combine the dal, the sambar, in sambar you put your vegetables, you put palak, you put drumsticks, you put tomato, pumpkin, yes, and you're going to serve that sambar with an idli. Now idli is a combination of proteins. You're going to combine rice with urad dal. So that's a good protein combination. So, yes, and fermented, and serve that with a sambar infused with vegetables. Give that child a chutney. Okay, let the chutney be of coriander, mint, ambar chukka. Even palak can be blanched and put into the chutney form. The child will not know. Yes, so there are varied ideas where we can enhance the child's iron and protein nutrition and hence help in better blood formation and preventing or curing anemia. We can also include other foods like dates. We can include dates, we can include guava. Now we are, there's a lot of guava available in the market. Yes, we can include oranges, papayas, we've got broccoli, we've got cabbage, cauliflower. Yeah, when you're making pav bhaji, how can you make a more healthy pav bhaji? You take some mung or some chavli sprouts and you mix that with your cauliflower, peas, tomato, capsicum, put a good amount of coriander, mint and lime. Lo and behold, you have a good combination of your proteins, vegetables, you're putting in vitamin C. Vitamin C, if you're going to add, what happens? It converts the ferric iron to ferrous iron. And ferrous iron is a form the human body absorbs and digests more easily and uses it for formation of healthier blood. So a child having hemoglobin of 12 plus, having enough adequacy of protein with regards to at least 60 grams of protein coming in per day. We are not even coming 30 grams per day. So how do we expect our girl child to be tall and healthy? And then we expect the girl child, once she is married, to be looking at housework, working outside, bearing children and taking the handle of the entire family and community at large. So let us look at focusing on how can we improve good quality growth, yes, physical, mental, psychological in the girl child, so that she grows into a positive and healthy and a strong young lady. That should be our major focus today.
Does cauliflower and cabbage contain vitamin C?
Yes. So now the another important nutrient lacking in our Indian diets, especially girls, is calcium. We don't even understand what is the importance of calcium. We don't even bother when the child is not having one single cup of milk a day. We are so much scared to increase our waistlines and have zero figures thanks to our medias and our actresses, that today the girl child shuns her glass of milk. She's shunning it. She's not having milk at all. She's going in for diet colas. She's going in for a vegetable sandwich where there is no protein. So teenagers require high calcium. The calcium in the per day in the girl's child should be more than 600 milligrams. And that will only come with 2 glasses of milk, 1 bowl of sprouts, 2 til laddus, 10 almonds, 3 dates, 3 figs. So are we looking at a bowl of palak? Are we looking at a bowl of methi? Yeah, go home and start looking up your family's diet. हमारे बच्चे ने दिन भर में कितना खाया calcium? Then you will know, we are sadly behind. The child has had just one batata vada for lunch, morning just 1 cup of milk, of a few biscuits, maybe some sweets, some chocolates, and dinner will be a full dinner. That will have puri, bhaji, pulao. But then we are so much bad, so much lacking behind in good quality of proteins, enough adequacy of calcium and iron in our growing children's diet. So lack of calcium, during the growing years between 12 and 18, lack of calcium can lead to stunting. The child won't grow as tall. The child won't have a well developed skeleton. Will have poor bone structure, weaker bones. So we should look at providing the child with enough calcium so the child grows healthier, stronger bones, good bone mass, and will prevent osteopenia and osteoporosis. That means easy risk to fractures. As I said, during the growing years, if the girl child is well taken care of, she will be a healthy young woman. She will have a healthy marriage, healthy pregnancy outcomes, and will be able to serve herself, her family, community and country at large in a much better way. Again, now lack of calcium, lack of vitamin C and lack of good hygiene gives to cariogenic teeth in most young girls today. A lot of girls today have dental caries or ill-formed teeth or have bleeding gums. So how can you solve this problem? Give them at least 2 cups, 2 glasses of milk. Give them enough of those til laddus, peanut laddus, besan laddus. Give them guava, oranges, lime juice. Give them watermelon to eat. Teach the child to take time to chew the food properly. Today children are so much in a hurry for classes and tuitions and more tuitions. They are not even giving enough time to eat or chew the food properly. and more importantly develop the habit of brushing teeth first thing in the morning, last thing in the night. So teenagers who have high calcium requirements, yeah, should be provided with the right kind of good calcium rich foods. So another problem faced by most young girls between 13 to 16 is acne. Now acne is thanks to oily skin, maybe it is genetic, maybe it is lack of hygiene, maybe it is hormonal imbalance, maybe it is not just the right diet. When the child's diet is lacking in fresh fruits, vegetables and fiber and water, yes, then that child is more prone to acne. Yes, or the child is not sleeping enough, the child is very stressed, very high strung, emotionally also she is very disturbed. Such kids, yeah, are likely to have more acne. So we can give the child enough assurance of good food, enough sleep at night, good study habits, good bowel movements, enough water intake, so we can prevent acne, we can help reduce the severity of the acne. Yes, one more strong influence is the peer, her girlfriends, her good friends. Yes, those are the people, yes, for, they will just die for her, that my best friend appreciation. My best friend told me, yeah, Seema, Smita, whatever has told me, okay, this looks nice on me, or let's go and have an ice cream, let's just forget lunch, we'll go and have an ice cream, so that's going to be our lunch today. So we won't become fat. If we skip lunch, we'll have an ice cream, but will an ice cream be able to provide what the lunch gives you? The lunch is supposed to give you 1/3 of the day's protein, 1/3 of the day's carbs, okay, you look at good fats, you look at micronutrients. So one ice cream ka mukabla one plate of food, impossible, na? What was that? Yes, another problem in young children is obesity or being overweight or having unshapely figures, and then the prevalence is as high as 35%. So teenage girls will try to adopt what the media propagates, or what's there on the internet. They'll go on those 0-calorie diets, skipping the breakfast, skipping the dinner, let's only have fruit juices, let's only have few biscuits. So these are bad diets, these are inadequate with regards to good nutrition. So such diets will make the child actually more flabbier, and more the child will collect more of body fat. So we have to protect the child from such bad influences, take professional help if required. So formulate good balanced diet so that the child can actually learn to eat healthy, grow taller and develop a better muscle and bone mass, and not go into these fat diets to lose weight. See, the junk versus the healthy. Yeah, you see the one girl having her colas, her burgers, her french fries, and the other girl is having her lassi with some salad and some sprouts. Yeah, so if the mother is well informed or the class teacher is well aware of what's wrong with the child, then he or she, the teacher, the mother, the right doctor, the right neighbor, right, the right person can help. Or if you seek professional help of a good nutritionist or a dietitian who can help the child understand what is good for her health, whereby she can develop a right optimum growth. Now, one more thing which is sadly lacking in today's teenagers, especially girls. See, when you compare boys and girls, surveys show that most boys are able to get their 60 minutes, 1 hour of physical activity by play, sports or whatever, but girls are way behind. And when they are lacking in physical activity, they are sedentary. So that's one reason why they are gaining weight in today's times. They are so happy sitting on the internet or reading books, or so happy with academics that they don't give importance to enough physical activity. So make sure that your young growing child gets 1 hour of playtime where she is allowed to run, cycle, swim, play a good sport. That will enhance her growth, because physical activity, exercise will enhance growth along with good nutrition. So the child develops optimally with regards to mental and physical attributes. Now cognition, okay, what is the IQ quotient? What is the child's learning ability? How fast will the child learn and remember and develop the right learning attitude is when he or she is fed well. See, since most of our time, the growing child's time is spent in the school or the college, So that's between say the waking hours till almost 3, 4, 5 our kids are in school. So what the child gets in school, what the child takes to school should be well looked into, so that at least 60% of the requirements of the day are met in the first 8 to 10 hours. So a good breakfast which comprises of low glycemic index foods. What are these low GI foods? These are our complex cereals. I just told about unrefined wheat. I'm talking of cornflakes, I'm talking of wheat flakes, oats, I'm talking of jawar, bajra, nachni, makai. I'm looking at poha. We're looking at all these unrefined cereals combined with sprouts, combined with milk or curd or cheese, with a fruit. We can give the child a little piece of a til chikki or a peanut laddu or a coconut laddu for that matter. Why not? Because when the child starts her day well, yeah, with the right blend of proteins, complex carbs, essential fatty acids coming in from nuts. Even if you are not giving a laddu, just give them 5 badam या 5 kaju या 4 आधे अखरोट या 8-10 pistas या 1 tablespoon of roasted peanuts. That will give the child essential fatty acids. 1 paratha, 2 theplas, yeah, 2 dosas. The dosa could have a blend of not just urad and rice. You can incorporate ragi. You can incorporate even jawar, bajra flour. It can become a multigrain dosa. Why not? Why not serve that with a green chutney, with some paneer or cheese or hung curds? That becomes a good recipe for a first class protein, complex carbs. So there is protein adequacy, you are going to provide micro and macronutrients, and when such breakfast is given to a child, that child will be most alert, will be the best at his learning abilities and have positive effects, will be a positive person, will be a happier person in the class. Okay? Yes, so oiling the brain, we are also looking at foods which in omega-3. Apart from our cod liver oil and those fish oil capsules, I am looking at flax seeds, I am looking at walnuts, almonds, fish, oily fish. We are looking at even the greens. When you are looking at cabbage or broccoli, or looking at cauliflower ke patte ya palak, methi, cholai, or we are looking at even bajra and chana. These are going to give us alpha linoleic fatty acid, which converts to omega-3 in the body. See, fish gives you omega-3, but those who are not eating fish, what about them? They can look at the non-vegetarian sources I just spoke about. So these are known to improve cognition and mental growth in the child. Now this is also important for adults. If we adults can look at 1 teaspoon of flax seeds, just chew it like that only, or add a powder to your raita or to your lassi, it's going to give you alna, okay, linoleic fatty acid, which converts to omega-3. Now glycemia. Now when you are looking at the glycemia, why do we talk of glycemia for young children? What's the need? Here I am looking at maintenance of blood sugar levels in the blood. So when the child is just having refined foods like a chocolate or just a bread butter jam or a cola, then the sugars will rise and then fall. So when that rise and fall happens, the child is either too hyper or he is just not interested, just not alert in the class. So when we are looking at, as I spoke about, those combinations of complex carbohydrates coming in from cereals, coming in from proteins, include a fruit, include a nut. When looking at these combinations, then the glycemic index becomes much lower, much controlled, thereby giving you a slow release of energy in the blood. So the child feels energetic and can concentrate, can perform, not just in academic but also in sports. Yes? Breakfast, I have been talking about, giving the child a good breakfast. A good breakfast means a good start. Not just to the girl child, but to the girl child's father, mother and siblings. Everybody needs a good breakfast. So we spoke about inclusion of a cereal. It can come in by way of cornflakes, milk with some nuts and a fruit. It can come in by a paratha or a thepla or a dokla or an idli or a vegetable idli or an uttappa. Look at all our recipes. Even if the mother is too harassed and doesn't have much time, she can take bread, put a green chutney with the peanut powder, with some more vegetables. She can put in some peas with cheese, or she can put in some sprouts with some hung curds, Hung curds is simply putting the curd on a chalni, the water drips out, so that becomes a little dry curd. So that dry curd can be used like a spread. Na? That curd will give you the first class protein. See, child, when he is running and doesn't have much time, you got to give the child, a food which is packed, nutrient packed. अगर आप बोलेंगे कि no, you have a glass of milk and a paratha and an egg, difficult. But if you combine, if you just convert that milk, if the child is not a big eater, then you convert the milk into hung curds or cheese or paneer. Take an egg, okay, take a roti, put that egg on the roti, put some cheese, put some vegetables, make it like one Frankie roll, done. That becomes like a nutrient dense food. Or take 2 slices of bread, you can put boiled egg or scrambled egg or cheese or paneer, put a green chutney, put some tomato, done. Bring in a banana or an orange or a mango, whatever the season it is. Nowadays you've got guava, you've got strawberry, you've got oranges, you've got papayas, apples. Bring in a fruit in the morning. For heaven's sake, that fruit will give the sugar to the child early in the morning. See, when all of us wake up in the morning, our brains are glucose deprived. So when we bring in the fruit in the morning, we get those good levels of sugar in the morning. So then your blood is going to be rich in sugar, you will be more active, more alert. So give the food that the brain and the body needs early in the morning. Give your day a kickstart. Give your day a positive start, right?
And the lunch will be lighter in the breakfast.
Nothing like that, sir. We are talking of the teenage girl child. I am saying that give equal importance to breakfast, lunch, dinner, mid-morning, mid-evening. 5 meals a day, 3 major and 2 small. Then only the girl child grows into a strong young woman. Yes? Now what is lacking again is water. A lot of times now we don't realize the importance of water. I would say minimum 6 glasses of water, go up to 10 glasses of water per day. Start the day with a glass of water, yes, and then in between also have a lot of water. See, nowadays we start having cold drinks or fruity, a lot of tiffins. When we did a survey in the school some time back, we found that tiffins had a fruit juice. I mean, why have these branded fruit juices? With no offense to any company. I mean, why not give the child just plain buttermilk or chas or lassi or a fruit with their sandwich or thepla or dokla, right? So we've discussed about a lot about what is required in the diet with regards to macro and macronutrients. But now there are other things which come into the food, right? We are looking at the inclusion of caffeine. Yeah, caffeine comes in through our coffee, colas, even tea. Now these are said to be stimulants. So when there are a lot of children who are into first thing in the morning tea, after meals tea. If they don't have tea, they are not able to study well. These are wrong habits. Yeah, when you are giving the child tea and coffee with the food, you know what you are doing? You are not letting the child absorb enough iron, because these are chelators. So never allow the child or even an adult to combine tea or coffee with the meal. Reduce the tea, make the tea lighter, or better still, do not introduce tea coffee in the child till the child is 18, 19. Yeah? Why green tea? They don't need tea, sir. Let them grow healthy and happy. Yes. Now what about vasoactive amines, histamine? This is very much there in cheese, ketchup, fish, vinegar. So these are also irritants to the child. Some children have irritation. So you must now observe whether the child gets any kind of rash or becomes irritable with the inclusion of cheese, ketchup, fish, vinegar, then avoid those things. Then you have tryptophan and serotonin. These are sleep inducers. So when the child has milk, yeah, milk has these sleep inducers, tryptophan and serotonin. So when you give a glass of milk, he sleeps well.
Plantain also.
Yes, bananas, when you have nuts. So we are looking at even now, see, today we are a very highly urban city. In urban cities, they have a lot of processed and packaged food where color and preservatives are added in good amounts. So all these yellow, orange, red colors are known to create hyperactivity. Very soon I think we will have food labelings, stringent warnings that this has more than the required amounts of salt, or this has got these colors which can create hyperactivity. So we should look at, telling our government to give emphasis on these important health factors and looking at all the other nonsense issues which are nowadays in the media, right?
And the incidence of
ADHD is on the rise.
Very much, yes.
That's
So eating patterns and eating behaviors are also giving us some more eating disorders. Yeah, see, there's something called as anorexia nervosa and bulimia. This is very much now there in urban cities. This is thanks to the impact of the internet, the actors and actresses. Yes, the child who is anorexic na has this wrong image that even if she is right, see, I'll show you a photograph. The one which is standing in the mirror is what she thinks that she is obese, but actually she is as thin as the girl which is there. Skeleton, she is so thin, but उसके दिमाग में यही चल रहा है कि no, I am overweight, I am plump. So that girl will refuse to eat enough because she says if I eat, I'm going to gain weight. She's all the time, having her focus on the weighing scale. Every morning, evening, she sees कितना weight loss हुआ, weight gain हुआ, and she's so much obsessed with weight. Anorexia nervosa is the term which is given to such behaviors. And such girls who are not eating right or not eating enough in their growing years, from 13, 15, 16, you see more so in this 15 to 16 to 18. And this is more common that age. That's when they learn to explore the internet and then the heroine and the heroes. So that's when they're not eating enough. So when the child is having less weight per age and height, yes, she's stunted, she's too thin, she will have cessation of periods, irregular periods, she will have low body temperature, she will have growth of hair on the face, she will have a patchy skin. At the other end, you have the bulimic individual, the bulimia nervosa kid, where she has an obsession and she fears gaining weight, but at the same time, she is also obsessed with food. So she will eat food, she will go on and binge. See, I showed you one photograph of a girl eating those burgers, cold drinks and all that. That's actually a bulimic episode. So she will eat all what is not actually healthy. She will go on that binge eating, and that again is influenced by moods. If she is not happy, if something is going wrong in the relationship with the family or with the others in the society, her friends or say the boyfriend or whatever, then she will go on a binge episode. Then she will eat foods on the slide, chup chup ke kha legi. She will go to a hotel, eat all whatever is not right, unhealthy food at one go, and then once she's eaten up, then she'll say, oh, now I am regretting having eaten all that food. And she'll want to vomit or she'll take a laxative to have a loose motion. So we must protect our young girls from developing these deviant behaviors. Dear parents, if we don't understand, the whys and hows of our child's behavior, be very alert to how the child is behaving, what she is eating for breakfast. Whenever and wherever possible, make sure that you are providing the right breakfast, the right mid-morning, the right lunch, evening dinner. Look out for symptoms of these behaviors. The child is looking pale, the child is looking tired, having hair loss, having acne, having dry skin. All these are symptoms of a child not fed adequately. The girl child is very important. I feel girls are as important as the boys. So we have in the last 20 minutes or so discussed about what are the nutrients required, what are the right diet approaches, what are macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, what are micronutrients, iron, calcium, yes, vitamin C, zinc is important for growth, and energy balance, eating just right for the child to grow in height and in weight. The child who will grow in weight will also grow in height. Na? See, some parents bring children to me when they say the child should not put on weight, but she must grow tall. Is it possible? If I don't give the child the right food for her to develop her skeleton and her muscle mass and the right healthy blood, the weight to badna hi hai. The weight will go up and the height will go up. Yes, we have to watch out. We have to plan the right diet which is optimal with regards to proteins, enough complex carbs, the good quality fats, bring in the nuts, bring in those healthy, complex, unrefined foods. Emphasize on the girl child as well as the boy child giving 1 hour of play time. If you are not able to play in your compound, if lack of compound is your constraint, then let them get, let them just go and join up with some gymkhana or with some sports club. Let them go and enjoy one hour of say football or basketball or swimming, or just take the child cycling. When you are planning a trip to just the burger or the pizza joints or a movie, Why not even plan for a walking trip into, say, the national park, RML colony? Yes, to some garden, some park where you will be with nature, and you can carry not biscuits and chocolates for those snacks. Let's carry some fruits, some nuts. Yeah. See, very soon we'll have Sankrant coming in. So why look at Til Laddu only in Sankrant? Huh? Or why look at the Besan Laddu only in Diwali? Let's look at Besan Laddu, Nashnika Laddu, Rava Laddu all throughout the year for the child. Let the child have laddu and chikki with good rotis, sabzi, dahi, dal, sabzi, and not have breads, burgers, pizzas and cold drinks.
The laddus are good, no?
Yes, yes, sir, yes. So we are looking at bring in the punch from the fruits and the vegetables and the whole grains, more milk. Yes, if the milk is not enjoyed, yeah, bring in the curds, the lassi, the hung curds, put in the cheese, the paneer in the roti. Child won't know. Yeah, you are the parent. The child is your child. Yeah, they will listen to you. Bring in food taste, bring in good presentation. Yeah, and sit with the child, spend time with the child, understand what the child wants from you. Look at his or her likes. See, like I have my son, you know, who will want to have a paratha. He's very happy. He'll have a milkshake. But the daughter will say, no mom, I want to have something like noodles. So, okay, I'll bring in the macaroni noodles, but I'll buy those whole wheat kind of noodles with more vegetables in it. I'll put in sprouts. I'll put in some boiled chicken. I'll make it a healthy combination. Nothing is bad in, you know, if you combine it right. As we had that eat well food plate diagram, as I said, 30% proteins, 30% carbs, 30% vegetables and 5% fat. Is it going to be unhealthy? It's going to be healthy. Yes? So, I would say wish you happy meal times. Stay healthy, stay fit. Yes, a wise parent is a healthy parent will have healthy children and will let the children grow healthy.
Only one slide.